So, first of all, this is the top of the heart, the apex at the bottom of the heart. This right here is the pulmonary trunk. Behind it are some branches off of the aorta. See if I can pull that away and show you the aorta coming up out of the left ventricle. But in front of that, pulmonary trunk. Pulmonary trunk is where we began the dissection, cutting at its base, coming around in a smile face, up here to the back. And if I open this up, what I have are the two ventricles, left ventricle with its thick myocardium, right ventricle with its thin myocardium. This right here illustrates the bicuspid valve. 1, 2 cusps. There's the mitral or bicuspid valve. The chordae tendineae are quite obvious. You can see the papillary muscles, the nipple-like extensions of the myocardium that the chordae are attached to. There's one down there. If we look behind the bicuspid valve, there is the exit from the left ventricle going into the aorta. You can actually see the cusps. I don't have a probe, I need a probe here. But you can see the cusps of the aortic semilunar valve. If I stick my finger there, I come up through the aorta. Here in the right ventricle, we have the right ventricle. I didn't quite cut this well, but you can see the 3 cusps of the tricuspid still intact, right? And again, the chordae tendineae, the papillary muscles, the thin wall of the right ventricle. I cut this up to the pulmonary trunk. When blue blood comes out of the right ventricle, it goes through the pulmonary trunk, branches the left and right pulmonary arteries, and goes to the lungs. The lungs sit right beside the heart. You do not need that excessive pressure that you need for the systemic circuit, and that's why the myocardium is so thin. If we look where I cut to, again, I need a probe, but with my finger, you can see one of the semilunar valve structures, right? So when the right ventricle contracts, the tricuspid closes off. Then the blood shoots through the pulmonary semilunar valve, pushing these little cusps, these semilunar flaps, flat up against the endothelium. As the right ventricle relaxes in diastole, blood attempts to come back down, doesn't it? And when it does, it fills up these little cusps so that it covers that exit, and it makes the sound dup. So lub-dup pause, lub-dup pause. The pause is the filling of the atrium. Let's not forget that you have the auricles. This is the right auricle, that pig's ear, left auricle. On the sheep's heart, the vessels are cut too close to the auricles to be any good to us. But I can usually find the entrance of the superior vena cava and the inferior vena cava right here into the back of the right atrium. Okay? Coronary arteries and cardiac vein are around the surface of the heart. There's a lot of fat. This is all fat. That's it.